Hi, gang. This is Smudge, and I want to share a few more things with you. I've been talking a lot about eternal security, that once saved, always saved, that you can also build up for yourselves eternal rewards. You know, we human beings are awful motivated by reward in life, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, didn't Jesus come and live a life of suffering, born in a manger, they say, which is basically an animal trough, in a very poor family, and he suffered all of his life. And he ultimately suffered unto death on the cross, which says it all. So through suffering, he gained something. First of all, you know, he gained everything back that had been lost in the fall. Everything. He will eventually come again, as he promises, and this time, rather than a suffering servant, he is going to come as king. Now, do I ever look forward to that? Because it's going to be great. None of this stuff like in the world today where, you know, all these politicians are lying and carrying on and spending our money and going crazy. I'm looking forward to when he comes, because he will do it fairly and justly and righteously, and he will have all knowledge, and he will be able to judge rightly, you know, over all things. You know what? He's going to have people that are in his government. Now, you think about that. There could be, it's just like we have a local government, we have a mayor, we have councilmen, things like that, you know, then you have state government, you know, you have a governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, you got all these different positions, then it goes on up to the U.S. level, and you have, ultimately there, you have the three branches of government, the president, the legislative branch, and you have the judiciary. Well, obviously, some Christians that have received the free gift of everlasting life will reign with him. They will have power. They will share in that power to one degree or another based upon what they did with the free gift that was given to them. If you do nothing, you get in. But if you're counted as an overcomer, which involves work, and we aren't saved by work, we're saved by grace through faith. Okay? As an overcomer, if one's counted as that, you will receive reward, and you will co-reign with him, and you will be a co-heir with him. Now let me just share a perfect example of this. Who understood it? Napoleon understood it. He said, hey, I need to get some better quality people here. And so he reached out, and he didn't just make officers and non-commissioned officers from the elite class of people. He reached down, and if he saw somebody who was worthy, he appointed them and gave them commissions. And then when they did heroic things and served well, he hung a piece of ribbon on them. And if there's one thing I know from having a career in the military, a little piece of ribbon can sure go a long way to motivate you. I mean, when I served in Vietnam, you know, I really had said, I want some medals for heroism, you know. I didn't want to get the Purple Heart, because that meant I was either wounded or dead. And so I didn't really want to get that one, but I was all for getting any medal that I could and pinning it on my chest because they look good. And it's just a little piece of metal and a little piece of ribbon. You think about it, what people will do for these things and the honors of it. Well, the honor of co-reigning with the King of Kings is far more than that. Now let's just turn to Paul's second letter to Timothy, just before he's about ready to be martyred. And turn in Timothy to chapter 2, 2 Timothy 2, and we'll start off with verse 11 through 13. Now, Paul starts off and he says, this is a faithful saying. Now, why does he say that? What is he? I know that the Bible's true, but he's like, In the military, when you went to a school, they said, this is a foot stomper. And they stomped their foot. In other words, this is something you really need to know. That's what Paul's doing here. He's doing a foot stomper. He's saying, this is a faithful saying. What I'm about to say really has merit, and you really need to know it and understand it. And then he goes on. If we died with him, we shall also live with him. If we endure, we shall also reign with him. If we deny him, he also will deny us. Now, if it stopped there, I'd say a Christian could lose their salvation, but it doesn't. The 13th verse goes and says, if we are faithless. Hey, what happens when I become faithless? I stop believing. Faithless is without faith. He remains faithful, it says. He cannot deny himself. He can't deny what he did for us on the cross. So let's put these verses into perspective. It's a faithful statement, a foot stomper that every Christian should understand. For if we died with him, we shall also reign with him. Hey, I positionally died with him when I trusted him. And that promise is that I will live with him. I will acquire the very life of God himself, and I will live with him the moment I did that. But then it goes on. It says, if we endure. Hey, enduring, hanging in there patiently through the rest of life in this temporal world takes some work, and endurance is work. But again, he never said, for God so loved the world, that he gave his only begotten Son to whoever believes on him and endures. He didn't say that. He just said believes on him. But here it's saying endures. If we Christians endure, we shall also reign with him. Reigning is far more than getting in. It implies rank, power, intimacy. Just like a general's higher than a colonel, and a colonel's higher than a major. And a major is higher than a company grade officer, and on down the scale. Okay, there's a chain of command, and doesn't it make sense if he's going to come and establish a kingdom on this earth, he's obviously going to have people who rule in it with him, and rule the whole world. So, he says, if we endure, we shall also reign with him. But, he goes on, he says, if we deny him, in other words, by my lifestyle, I'm not living out Christ-like character and growing in it, and I'm denying him by the way I live just like the world, he also will deny us. Deny us for what? Reigning with him. And how do I know that? Because the 13th verse says, if we even go so far as to become faithful, or stop believing, stop trusting in him, he remains faithful. And why? He cannot deny himself or what he did for us on the cross. The sole requirement is grasping the grace given to us by faith. That gets you in. But reigning with him, not all Christians will reign with him. That involves patient endurance. Now there we go. Another faithful statement from the Apostle Paul, who doctrinally understood this concept and could separate out what was free from what is earned. And he's passing this on to Timothy, who passes it on to other fellow disciples and overcomers. So, this is Smudge saying, hey, all these earthly rewards are great, but boy, I look forward to the eternal ones, and I pray that I'm found worthy to be an overcomer. I know I get in freely, and that's comforting. That frees me right there to be honest with myself and deal with whatever things I need to deal with today. So God bless you all, and I hope this has meaning for you. This is Smudge, and I'm signing off now.